All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Kiev Major group stages. This is going to be the second series of today. We've got a best of three between Newbee and Digital Chaos, aka the old team Onyx, the great NA Hope. I'm Android, being joined by Brax. What's up, dude?
Not much, just excited to see some North Americans representing.
Close to home, man. Team Fire player. Seeing your boys do well.
Yep, that's right. Team Onyx, now known as Team Digital Chaos.
Yup.
Yeah, let's see what they can do. Meepo's banned. Oh, they might have lost already. Who knows?
Yeah, no surprises there. Who can forget Abed just going and crushing the hope of complexity during the TI group stages? So
You know,
since then, you can't let him have Meepo. It's too dangerous.
he traveled regions at TI. He shut down Cole's hopes and dreams in the wild card with Abed's Meepo, and then he
Mm-hmm.
denied them again at the next TI or at the next major with Meepo again.
So
Man,
definitely a smart choice to ban the Meepo. They're gonna take out the Treant as well. This leaves our boy Monkey King available for the taking, which is gonna make me a little bit sad. But it's okay. I don't think we'll I feel like it's gotta get snapped up. It's just super strong right now. Can you really let it get to the second round of bans?
well, there's also a Magnus. So one team's gonna pick one, then the other team's gonna pick the other. Unless you want to pick Crystal Maiden first, of course. How could I forget that one?
Yeah, obviously Newbie just all over their Crystal Maiden. It has been Faith's first pick hero, his first choice. Faith has played it in the last 30 days a lot, like a dozen times just in competitive matches. Guess his win rate, bro.
What is it? Like
With that
10%?
with the Crystal Maiden, Faith has an 86% win rate. So definitely
Nice.
a good hero to have.
Monkey King Vengeful Spirit pretty quickly here.
Yep, gonna be no
Vengeful
surprises there.
Spirit
So
has been seeing so much love.
I mean, she's good. What's wrong with her? She can scale up really nice as a core. She can be a really high utility support. She can kind of tread that line if you've got an offlaner that wants to be a big boy core, which we saw in game number 2 of our last series, with that Centaur just kind of taking over the position 1 role. So just
Yeah,
very flexible, very fluid. You can kind of fill the gaps with her. She's not really locked into one style of playing.
it's definitely very, very good. And as you said, very flexible. I'm interested to see that there's no Magnus pickup yet. I mean, I know we saw Magnus lose twice in the other games we casted before, but it's still a very, very strong hero.
All right, Abaddon picked up here a little bit of the NA staple to go for that off lane Abaddon, but it is actually KP's third most picked hero in the last 30 days in competitive play, so gotten a lot of use out of that in the Chinese scene, and I want to see how Newbie execute it. I'm
They're actually IX Mike inspired. Faith uses the IX Mike CM set every game, by the way. I'm
Does
not
he
kidding.
really?
Yeah, he does. He's got the
That's
mustache
great.
and
Again,
everything.
really the most off lane AB I've ever seen is from Mike, so let's pour one out, man. Anyway, going on to the second round of bans. Magnus, I mean, still available here. I feel like you either gotta ban it or take it. Someone's got something to do with this Magnus. You can't just let it be here.
Yep, maybe they feel like it doesn't really complement their playstyle. Magnus is a very, very slow-paced hero. He doesn't really want to get involved to really do anything for the first 15 minutes of the game. Kind of just wants to farm, get his Blink Dagger, Shadow Blade, all that good stuff. So yeah, we'll see what DC decide to ban out. Monkey King, Vengeful Spirit. Heroes, they both scale very well. Both good late game. Abaddon, very good against Monkey King, actually. No matter how many items this guy gets, Abaddon can always ult and run through and try to just focus down the Monkey King.
How often do you see Abaddon Ags in competitive? I just don't see Abaddon enough to know.
Actually, very rarely. There are some games where it's extremely good and they'll pick it up, but otherwise it's usually like he either has like the Radiance carry build where he goes like Radiance, Blade Mail, Blink, Octarine into some, tank item, or he goes for like the team fight 5-man build. It's like Vlad, Solar Crest, into whatever, Basher, Blink, all that good stuff. Pretty much never, unless it looks really, really good for it.
I'm so used to getting it in my pubs and just saving my idiot teammates, but we won't see that here. Nick's banned out against Newbee. They've been running that a little bit. Kaka taking up as their position 4 sometimes, but let's see. Another ban. I mean, Newbee love themselves a Juggernaut. Don't really know if it's warranted for a ban here.
5 seconds
Oh, it definitely
remaining.
is, especially with the Abaddon and Crystal Maiden. You've got so much push power together.
They're gonna ban out the Tinker. All right, pretty safe choice.
Turn to ban.
Okay, Tinker Band. It's so one of the heroes that Terrorblade does not want to play against is Tinker, and Terrorblade Troll. They'll become much more popular this tournament, as they're kind of like the new carries that have taken
10
the place of the
seconds
old
remaining.
carries who have been nerfed a little bit. And there's the Terrorblade ban. All right.
DC's turn to pick.
Yep, DC now get another shot at things. Let's see. I mean, what position do they want to pick up here? Do they want to reveal their mid? Can they just take their offlaner freely, or do they really want to save that for the last two?
I feel like unless they want to pick Lina as their mid, they're
10
not going to pick their
seconds
mid here
remaining.
because they want to guarantee a better matchup for Oddbin.
5 seconds
He's
remaining.
a very, very good player, and he can definitely do a whole lot with a favorable matchup.
Reserve time.
It's definitely going to be either support or offlane, unless it's Lina.
Okay. Well, just keeping it up in the air then. DC taking their time with this, dipping pretty heavily into their reserve. I mean, other really notable picks that they've just been snapping up in mass. Dubu's Earth Spirit, obviously, is just lovely, but they're going to go with a Sand King here.
Okay,
Newbee's
Sand King.
turn to pick.
I thought that they might actually hold their offlaner in case Newbee picks up the Juggernaut right now, because Juggernaut would complement their push a lot, and it's also a very scary lane. A Juggernaut pick could have prompted DC to pick Axe, a very good hero in the
10
offlane against
seconds
Jug, but now
remaining.
with the Sand King, they kind of don't have that opportunity. So
5
that might
seconds remaining.
kind of signal to Newbie that, hey, we can pick this hero now. He's going to have a pretty easy lane. He won't get pressured too hard.
Reserve time.
Yep. Newbie just slow rolling this one, taking their time. I mean, what have they been? They've been playing a ton of Weaver recently. Is that something that could be good against this lineup, or is Monkey King just too lockdown oriented? It'll get on top of him anyway.
Weaver is very good against Monkey King. He can beetle the Monkey King, and then he can't really jump around, and Weaver kills him very quickly. All right, comes the Earth
DC's
Spirit.
turn to pick.
Okay. That's I mean, a Dubu staple, so they're gonna deny it to Digital Chaos, take it up for themselves. In terms of who's been playing that a ton, it's Kaka's favorite hero, so
10
he's picked it up the
seconds
most in the last
remaining.
30 days. I guess we'll see him debut that, and
5
now Digital
seconds
Chaos moving on
remaining.
to their fourth pick here. They've got to give away something. I mean, you know Vengeful Spirit's going to be that most likely core role, and they will go for a Warlock here. So does this
Newbee's
mean
turn to
for
pick.
sure offlane Sand King?
Yeah, definitely offlane Sand King.
Okay.
He'll probably. Actually, I don't know what they'll do with the offlane Sand King. Usually, when you pick Sand King, you don't really want to throw him at the dogs. You want to help him because he either
10
destroys
seconds
his lane
remaining.
or he kind of sits there, cries, and he's useless the whole game. So they want to really
5
enable him, but it's
seconds
hard with
remaining.
the Abaddon in the game because
Lina.
they also want to pressure him. Out comes the Lina. Now
DC's
DCC the
turn
mid
to
that they're playing up
ban.
against. I
So
think they feel like their ban kind of doesn't matter. Like Newbie have the option of like the obvious go-to for them is probably the Juggernaut, but there's
10
also so
seconds
many good
remaining.
carry options that they can go for that doesn't really matter.
5
yeah, I mean,
Like-
in terms of what U9's been playing, a lot of Juggernaut, some Lifestealer, Ursa and Sven also on his most played in the last month. So two big boy cores that we don't see a ton of, but when they're picked and used right, my God, can they snowball.
And there's the Juggernaut ban.
I would love to see a Sven here. I think they just could combo with that so nicely, especially with the Crystal Maiden. He'd be full of mana all the time.
Newbee's turn to
That's
pick.
definitely going to be one of those melee heroes, Lifestealer or the Sven here, as you pointed out with the Medusa ban. I'm leaning more towards the Lifestealer combos with the Earth Spirit, can get on top of the Warlock and just kill him.
Would he use the
10
Earth Spirit as his
seconds
only
remaining.
vessel?
Yeah, he
Or-
would. He
Okay.
would roll in, or he would get
5
inside the Abaddon when
seconds
he has
remaining.
Blink eventually. But that probably won't happen until later on in the game. It's good enough to just use the Earth Spirit for that.
Reserve time.
Okay. So, assuming we're going to see, Lifestealer, Sven, maybe an Ursa. I feel like Ursa's a little too boomer bust here. You got to have something with a little bit of a safety net if he gets crippled.
It wouldn't be too bad since DC's biggest way of taking these fights is going to be off the back of Warlock's ultimate. And when Ursa takes Aegis, it kind of makes that ultimate a lot less powerful, since you don't really want to blow a gigantic cooldown to just get rid of an Aegis, so it could be a good pick as well. But it's a bit risky for them to pick it here because they're going to pick it into some carry that they don't really know of. This hero could hard counter
10
the Ursa,
seconds
make his game
remaining.
extremely difficult. Oh, and there's the Lifestealer.
DC's
Okay.
Turn to pick.
So they're going to go for that strat. I mean, I feel like at this point, Lifestealer is really well understood as a hero. All teams kind of know how to counter him, know what he needs to be successful. So Digital Chaos going in with a pretty full bank of information to this strat, really able to read what Newbee's going to do. And it's
10
really down to
seconds
execution. DC going to be most likely picking up their mid here unless they're
5
doing something
seconds
real crazy
remaining.
with that Warlock. But they've got plenty of time to figure it out. What do you give Abed this game?
Reserve time.
Oh, it's tough because you got so many threats. It's hard to deal with this Baden in your safe lane. The Lina and Earth Spirit combo in the mid lane as well is also difficult to deal with. I don't really know what Abed wants to play this game, honestly.
Yeah,
I feel like a
Abed's,
lot of the good heroes are already banned out.
Abed's top
Invoker's out of
3
the
in the
game.
last month. Meepo, Invoker, and Tinker. So, I
Yep,
mean, his
all
own
3
team
banned out
kind
of
of...
the game.
Yeah, his own team took out 2 of them, so really forcing him into this. I mean, could go for something just real damage-oriented, like a Shadow Fiend, I guess, but is that a little too boom or bust and high risk?
Might be the best shot they have.
Hey,
there's
I
a
got
Shadow
one!
Fiend. Nice call.
I'm proud of
Yeah.
myself. I never get those last picks.
It's definitely the best shot that they'll have. All the other heroes really don't give them what they need to win the game. Shadow Fiend can kind of play as that tanky frontliner behind the sitting or with the Venge behind him to kind of protect him, along with the Warlock ultimate. But this is tough. Like DC have a lot of losing lanes here. Lina definitely beats Shadow Fiend in the mid lane. Lifestealer CM and Earth Spirit probably won't have too much trouble against Sand King unless the Monkey King decides to come lean up there with the Poor Man's Shield and the passive. But then that also opens up Abaddon to have a pretty decent lane, so they're in a tough spot. They need to kind of decide which lanes they want to dedicate resources to, and then kind of just try to
10
win those lanes
seconds
and get what
remaining.
they can in the others.
Yeah, I really want to see how this
5
Monkey King is going to
seconds
perform
remaining.
because, you know, in the limited number of games we've actually seen him played and let through the first round of bans, I've seen him get in there and be godlike by 10 minutes and just wreck up the entire map. I've also seen him just go like 0-15 and just be a complete burden to his team, so going to be
Yeah,
really down to execution.
he's a big hit or miss hero right now, but I think more teams are figuring out the better way to play him. Like in the past, when he was first released and they didn't really nerf him too hard, people were kind of roaming with him. You know, he tried to jump on mid at level 1 to try to, you know, pressure like that, kind of play him as an Earth Spirit. But I think now teams are playing him in a bit of a different style. We'll try to see how Newbee plays it. I think I have a pretty good idea of what he's going to do. I think he's going to start with the Poor Man's Shield, and he's going to get his passive at level 1 and just lane off lane with the Sand King and try to just stack up the Jingu Mastery to pressure the lane.
Brax, I would like to give you a special shout out because you knew which set this Crystal Maiden was going to have. It is absolutely the IX Mike mustache set.
Yep, that's the best one in the game.
To see him would turn around and look at me, we can see it. Oh, look at that facial hair. That is gorgeous. But yeah, so I am thoroughly excited to see this draft executed. Just draft alone, no player bias or whatever. Who's looking good?
I think Newbee's lineup is favorable, for sure.
Okay.
I would rather play their lineup in this game.
I mean, what are their big strengths going to be? Because they're not super ultimate oriented. Like, where's their sweet spot? Where's their rhythm?
Their lanes are what kind of set themselves up to win this game. They have favorable matchups across the game, and they also have really strong scaling.
Cool. I mean, what problems are DC going to run into then?
30 seconds.
Just-
DC, they're gonna have some problems when it comes to dealing with heroes like Abaddon. They're gonna have to like decide how much they want to commit to shutting him down or limiting how much he gets, because if he does get to this point in the game where he has like Radiance, Blade Mail, Blink, Octarine, and you know all the big items, he's gonna be ridiculously hard to deal with their lineup. But DC, they're pulling out the aggro here. Monkey King does have the Poor Man's Shield. He's extremely hard to
The
fight,
battle begins.
and
Yeah.
this could be pretty good for them actually. But Newbee, they read it, they've dodged the lanes, they know that this is coming, and this gives them a chance to set themselves up for the best possible lanes. Like when they lane like this, it gives them a good chance to roam on mid. Like Earth Spirit's presence isn't going to be needed in the bottom lane, so we can kind of just sit around mid, pressure Abed a lot.
Yeah, I mean, what's this mid matchup going to look like? Assuming that there's no real help, assuming Monkey King kind of stays to himself.
Oh, the courier. Oh no, Kako's unable to get it. He's going to get out with such low health too.
Yeah, has to pop a salve just to get back up and fighting. Down in this bottom lane, you've got Bulba doing his thing. Demon's going to be TPing in, but should be pretty easy going now. Abed, the courier's leaping back out. Looks like we're going to have Kaka making another go of it, and this time it will be successful. There's nothing on the courier there, not going to be stopping any item deliveries, but still really good to get that going in the early game.
That's step one, the crippling Shadow Fiend's game. He can no longer ferry himself region, and look, Kaka's he's AFK in mid lane, just waiting to roll on him.
Yeah, Abed in some serious trouble here. I mean, he's got 2 souls. Definitely not where he needs to be. He will live this time. Let off with a warning, he's going to salve up, but already some serious aggression from Newbee onto this mid lane.
Yep, and this is where they kind of need to break down their lanes and either help them or just kind of leave them, you know? They need to pick and choose where to dedicate their resources. Their lanes are actually very good right now. They have Sand King and Warlock in the bottom lane right now. Very good against the Nakes. Lifestealer pretty much just farms under his tower. And then they have the Venge Monkey King against the Abaddon, which is more than enough to deal with them. Monkey King is actually probably one of the best zoners in the game right now with Poor Man Shield and Jingu Mastery. No hero can really tank that and trade with them.
Jingu Mastery is a hell of a spell, I tell you what. I've laned against Monkey King one too many times. So Abaddon goes first point miscoil. I just don't see that too much. I've seen first point curse, I've seen first point shield, but how common is that miscoil?
He's only doing it so he can secure himself early last hits. Like a lot of the times Abaddon players will miscoil the range creep to secure the extra experience when they're in like a lane where they can't like normally last hit it. So that way he secures himself, you know, a nice chunk of experience. And now he's doing just fine. 9 last hits, level 3. Monkey King kind of doesn't want to be there. He feels kind of useless right now. And now, DC are moving the lanes around. Warlock's kind of around the mid lane, trying to get his stack on, protect mid a bit. And that leaves Bulba solo down bottom lane, pretty vulnerable. And, you know, he realizes it. He's playing safe.
Yeah, playing really safe. You got a bunch of heroes in the area, maybe trying to force out that Burrow Strike, but he's just content soaking a little bit of experience. What's the best way for DC to deal with this Lifestealer? It feels like I've seen so many games where Lifestealers are just ignored, kind of written off as, he's farming, what's the worst that could happen? And then, you know, he comes out of his lane with like 8 items and he's ready to just mess your shit up.
Yeah, well, they really don't have a way to deal with them at this stage of the game. They pretty much can't do anything besides try to lane against them, but I feel like if they do, they're gonna die. Monkey King is coming down at the bottom lane, but if he goes in, I am pretty sure he's dying.
Now, there's a Burrow Strike ready, but he gets silenced here. This is pretty gnarly. They've got to body block him in. They get the Frostbite. He Burrow Strikes. Can they get one more hit? Monkey King's jumping in, and it looks like Warlock was able to save his friend. The first blood going to be going the other way as Dubu turns this around. My god, that was a team effort to keep Bulba alive, but definitely worth it in the end.
Harry Potter, the magician himself, making it out with 10 HP there. Nice play. You know, Dubu was in the right place, right time. He just happened to get there right as Newbee went in for the kill there. Very unfortunate that Sand King lives there with 10 HP for them. But that's just how the game plays out. These offlane heroes with Poor Man Shield are so difficult to take down right now.
Yeah, really tricky, and now U9 just has to play a little bit safer. And he knows he's got his supports nearby, but the fact that Bulba was there, got some good experience. He's level 4, does have that Burrow Strike out now, and of course Demon still there with a heal for his best buddy. You can really feel the teamwork emanating from these guys. Taking a look at our top lane, KP getting some alright farm for himself, almost level 4 in that Abaddon. In terms of last hits, he's, you know, where he should be for a very heavily zoned out Abaddon.
Yep, he's doing just fine right now. Mid lane is where the real pressure is being applied right now. Lina has double the last hits of Shadow Fiend right now thanks to that early pressure and the courier snipe.
Now, Abed just completely forced out. This is pretty tricky. What's the best way for a Shadow Fiend to get back in? Does he just Talon jungle? Does he just YOLO jungle? Does he go back to lane and pray for a miracle?
There's a good chance he TPs in and dies right now when Lina hits her level 6.
Yeah, she's thinking about it. Roll gonna be a little off the mark here, so Kaka just placing some vision, trying to play it off cool. Now there is gonna be a smoke rotation in from Bulba, or Dubu and Mason. They want to get this going. They will go for the stun here. Should be a pretty easy kill. Boundless Strike to lock down that Earth Sphere, and they're just gonna take him out like it's nothing. Kill score now 2-0 in favor of DC, and even though Abed individually is having a tough time, his team's really bringing it together.
Yeah, if he would have died there, he would have definitely been in for a rough game, but now he's doing fine. He got his level 5, he can farm jungle pretty effectively. Now Lina is, you know, she can't really make any aggressive moves with these heroes showing that close to mid lane. That smoke was definitely meant for the Lina. Earth Spirit actually managed to tank it for the Lina, which is nice, but it's enough for SF to gain some souls, and he'll be fine now, pretty much.
Yep. Our boy Monkey King just really having some good kill participation. In fact, he is the kill participation. He's gotten both of the kills that DC holds, and thinking about some phase boots for himself. Already flying in some goodies, some raindrops, so he can just get in there and be really aggressive, which is, you know, what the most successful Monkey Kings do. They get in, but they know their limits. They're not going to YOLO under towers too heavy. If they can't get that Shinku Mastery stack, it's not worth pushing.
Yep, he's gonna definitely try to keep his kill streak for now. And, you know, DC got some nice kills, but I feel like Newbee are content with that, you know? It's 2 kills on the Earth Spirit, he doesn't really mind too much, he's still gonna get his experience eventually. Baton's almost level 6, and that's where he becomes pretty much ungankable. He's just gonna sit in the lane forever hitting tower. Nake's, you know, he's kinda just getting the scraps right now, running around, he's gonna build up that Hand of Midas so we can continue to scale into the game. And, you know, DC kind of just have to wait. Sand King going for the Blink Dagger. Monkey King still only level 3. You know, kills really don't give you a whole lot of experience. You need to actually take time to sit in the lane or get that tome. But it looks like DC want to play aggressive up top.
Yeah, if they can find another couple of kills here, that'd be huge. If they can take out Kaka once again with Jubu hopping around to the trees. They get eyes on what's going down.
One creep from 6.
Oh man, that is so close. Can they actually go in right now? Oh man, that 6 not picked up. There he goes. He finally gets it for himself. Faith gonna be getting low, but there is a nice kick through from Kaka. Monkey King in some serious trouble here, just trying to run himself away. They are able to lock down a Baton. He's gonna be the first casualty. Dubu, open wounds, will be killed off by U9. Now Kaka just gonna take a solo epicenter right to the head. Swap back onto U9. They know he burned his rage, but they know Mason just barely has enough mana for that second stun. Looks like Bulba, our Harry Potter boy, gonna be helping out secure a triple kill for Mason, who all of a sudden just blooms online.
Yeah, nice play. They were all ready for that. DC was completely committed to making that move. They bring up pretty much every hero except for the Shadow Fiend there. Sand King TP's up to make sure everything goes well. And it, you know, turns out pretty well. But they've committed so many heroes, and look, that tower's sitting at full HP. How worth is it? You know, how? It's not really even worth it, right? They've brought all their heroes up there, and this tower is extremely healthy.
I'll take your tribute.
Yep.
Like, usually when you dedicate that many heroes up, you want to push the tower, you want to deal some damage. Otherwise, the enemy team kind of outfarms you. Like, just by hitting lane creeps, they'll get more out of it than you will. So, yeah, tough spot. I mean, they've got to take some time on DC now to get their levels on supports. Demon's level 4 on his Warlock. Definitely wants his level 6. Same with Monkey King, level 4.5. These are heroes that really want to scale.
I'm excited for our Wukong's nonsense coming in. I mean, what are Monkey Kings building now? Like, has anything really changed in 7.05? Do you still go in for, you know, Echo Basher if you can, or are you more support focused than that?
Nobody really goes for the Echo anymore. It's more, they either go for the Solar Crest build, or they go for Hand of Midas, or they go for Basher right away. It really depends on the player and how they think the pace of the game's gonna go.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Push down bottom coming in. They do have vision of this under the tree. Demon just going to be getting his little self out of there as this tower is going to be pressured and should be pretty easy to secure. It seems like up top, DC going in for kills of their own. They already burned down KP's ult. He's going to be trying to TP out, but easily able to pick that off with a Burrow Strike. That's going to be Bulba's first kill for himself. So tier 1 for tier 1 trade. Meanwhile, mid lane, you've got Demon, so can experience, Faith, similar stories. So just getting those supports up to their level 6s.
Both teams pretty much make the exact same move. Both mids go to the opposite sides, taking the tower, trying to kill pretty much anyone that's there. It's a bit unexpected sometimes for SF to make this early rotation. You know, a lot of the times people expect him to just keep farming the jungle and maximize his gold gain, but it's a very good move. It helps progress the game, and Fate is looking like it's in quite some trouble here.
Yep, Boundless Strike comes in, and the Crystal Maiden is, well, she's done. Dubu gets up the Mastery stacks, but is going to have to TP out. Laguna Blade right to the face of SCCC. Does not want to show mercy this time, so picking up a little streak there. That's some money going the way of Kaka. Finally going to be able to go and start working towards his Yules.
Okay, yep, Kaka going for the Yules. I think traditionally Earth Spirit players like to go for the Midas nowadays. It just helps them scale into the game. Speaking of Midas, Lifestealer just picked up his. Abaddon is only 500 gold away from his. Midas gaming all around.
Yeah, I mean, Newbee, they're postured up to where, you know, their lanes aren't going great. There's a pretty big kill disparity starting to form, but I mean, Newbee, they've got the foresight to look pretty far into this game where, you know, everyone's got a bunch of items. The Midases are really going to help them hold out late. I mean, when are Newbee aiming to have really that power spike? You know, what's going to be their green light?
Ideally it would be the armlet on Nakes, but maybe since he's already gone for the Midas, he feels like him having armlet isn't going to be the most impactful item he can get, and he feels like he needs more than that. So usually it's when he has armlet, that's when Nakes looks to, like, you know, Nakes bomb and get active on the map, but might be a bit different this time, as DC are smoked up. They are going to see the lifesteal, they have a big norm.
The kill would be really nice here. The Clipper with the boundless strike hopping down out of the trees, and she never even had a moment to react. Two TPs coming in though. This could be pretty big. Monkey King still doesn't have his ult, but they bust down the golems. Kaka has to roll right out of there as KP is going to pop his ult a little preemptively there. Mason's still very much alive. Throws out another stun, and they get a Abaddon right as his ult ends. KP just bursted down. It's now 9-3 in DC. They're feeling pretty on top of the world. They've got golems to help punch down this tower. Fortify can't last forever, and this should be a pretty solid tower advantage now for DC. As
Pause comes out. DC definitely in the driver's seat here. They're taking all these team fights convincingly. Nice smokes and everything. But I can't help but feel like it's such a big mistake from Newbee to even try to take these fights. Like, they're all TPing in. They're trying to fight with two Midases on their team against Warlock Ultimate, Monkey King, Sand King. You know, all these heroes want to fight early on in the game, and theirs necessarily aren't building for that, so they should just be playing to avoid these fights.
definitely playing safe there. Lena, I mean, she's still dreaming of her Bloodstone, but she's slow going there. Dubu, wow, just hops right out of danger. Oh, gets clipped right at the end of his TP, and will get punished for that. I guess you win some, you lose some there, but nice try nonetheless. In terms
He
of how
does get a
Newbee-
nice ward off at least.
Yeah. I mean, we can feel Newbee losing a little bit control of this, you know, late early game, early mid game, I guess, but what's the best way for them to take it back? When can they start rotating as a unit, or do they just want to farm for as long as possible?
They pretty much just want to farm. Like, Baden, he wants to get to his Radiance, Lifestealer wants to get to whatever items he can. Even when Lena has Bloodstone, she's probably not going to look to get charges right away, she just wants to keep farming. But DC do have the tools to take these towers. They've got the Vengeful Spirit, Shadow Fiend, Warlock. These heroes are extremely strong at grouping up and just pushing and fighting together. Now they're set up on bottom lane.
It'll be pretty tricky now. The Infest is ready. U9 just scampering out. I mean, they're keeping the chase up with Dubu, but they've got to force out Rage and then still chase him down. It's going to be tricky there. Creeps get a brief glimpse of Dubu, so U9 is just scurrying out.
Yeah, it was extremely awkward there. Kind of just give him the old rundown, hoping Nace doesn't press any of his buttons or walk away. Like, they just kind of walked at him. They weren't really coordinated there, waiting to set up the Monkey King stun into, you know, Venge stun or anything like that. Unfortunate, but they might run into each other here. They're both smoked up on the shrine. This could be really dangerous when Newbee decide to fight.
Yeah, two ships passing in the night here as they just kind of make the rotations around. It looks like KP might be the target. Dubu still hanging 10 off that tree, and well, Kaka has the Infest Bomb in him, but they're not going to look to get too aggressive here. It looks like DC, once they're corralled under their tower, Newbee really don't wish to take that fight. They just want to go back and farm, no surprise. And it looks like Abaddon is going to be going in for that Radiance build. I love this.
Yep, nice read from Newbee there. Quite obvious. Lifestealer knows something's up when Venge is running straight through the lane. But DC decided to just run into Roshan here. Alright. I actually don't think Newbee can do anything about this at all.
I mean, did Newbee see it? Do they know, like, what's up? Or is this just really unexpected? Looks like there's things coming out now.
They probably assumed they were going to top, but once they did, you know, saw that they didn't cross the ward there on the bounty room, they pretty much know they're doing Roshan now. But they can't really do anything. That's not worth them TKing to try to stop it, because first of all, they can't stop it, and it would just waste their time. They're just looking to maximize their gold gain. Playing the economy game for now.
Yep, DC picking up some speed. We got our carry Venge almost at her level 12. There's a level 10, she went for the attack speed. No real surprises there, as there's not oodles of magic damage on Newbee right now. And
Radiant's bottom tower.
The
I mean, it's-
gold is actually so close, and that's after DC have one more tower than Newbee and Roshan.
it's just the farm, man. They've just been sitting back hitting creeps. In terms of overall last hits, you got Lina, Lifestealer, and Abaddon just really raking them in.
Down bottom, Lifestealer's in a pretty dangerous position here.
Yeah, he's fine. Got them
Alright,
phase
gonna give him
booties.
the old walk away strategy when there are 4 heroes sitting in front of him. Uncounterable. Feel like DC are missing some opportunities here. Unless
Yeah,
they
I
can
mean-
actually kill Lifestealer like that, you know.
Do they need
they-
to just be hitting the gas pedal and constantly smoking, constantly looking for kills? Because it seems like Newbee, all they want to do is farm and play safe, and DC can't really out-late game them if they stick with that strat with all the Midases that are forming on Newbee now. They've got to really get active, and maybe our first 5-on-5 team fight of the game will set the tone.
DC right now, they're playing really 5-man base to get these objectives, but when you do that, sometimes you don't take times to push out lanes. And that leads to it taking way too long for you to get to these towers. Like you can see Newbee, how they've responded. They're hitting mid, they're hitting top, they force TP's mid, then they run to top, and then now they're pretty much making the same trade as them while having inferior team fight.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Good read by Newbee, really playing safe, using the map to their advantage. So, like you mentioned, getting some damage on mid. They're going to be taking out this top tower. Mad pings out from Monkey King saying, alright guys, don't defend this, just slap on the tier 2. The Fortify being spent by Newbee for this, wanting to make sure it goes down at least a little slower, but now Fortify down and tier 2 gone, so DC at least getting something good for their efforts, and you can feel the conflict here. Newbee really want to push their advantage and go in for this tier 2 push, but pretty scared of what DC has to offer if they go for those mass TPs.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, DC also push much faster than Newbee, so when SF gets to these towers and bench, these towers just die so much faster. But they are keeping back, and Newbee set up pretty defensively here to make it out.
Yep, Mason just keeping the chase up. It's just a solo Venge, but it seems like Newbie aren't too keen to rotate on that. Perhaps fearing follow-up TPs or people
They've
jumping out of the
actually
trees.
infested him. They want to go back in on this bench here.
I mean, making the roll forward. It looks like the Infest gank comes out. Vengeful Spirit. Oh, she's stuck here. Does go down 4 points in the Vengeance Aura, but that's not going to be slowing down U9 too much.
Yep, nice play from Newbee. Warlock was actually TPing on the Shrine when bench ported, but Warlock canceled. And, you know, that was enough for them to go back in on that Vengeful Spirit.
Yep. Sand King now, again, has his Blink Dagger. Going to be thinking about that Yule Scepter soon. Not going to be too far off from that. Demon pretty eager to drop another ult. His first ult helps secure them the tier 1 tower. U9 going to be just rage TPing out. Looks like we will get the catch onto Kaka. Not exactly the most ideal hero they can get, but better than nothing. They have to trade their tier 2 tower for something.
Yep, Kaka buys his Blink Dagger there before dying. And look what just happened. Like, DC have Aegis, they want to force a team fight, so they're like, hey guys, let's group up and take some towers. They take 2 towers in the bottom lane, while Newbee take 2 towers in the top lane, and they were able to get the pick off on the Vengeful Spirit just for the cost of the Earth Spirit. They're definitely outmaneuvering them in the mid game. This happens a lot when teams get Aegis. They're not the best about being efficient still, and they prioritize, hey, we need to, you know, push these towers, force them to fight us. And what happens a lot of the time is the other team knows that they can't fight them at all, so they try to dodge, they set themselves up so they can hit 2 lanes while the other team hits 1 lane, and then the other team that's hitting 1 lane with Aegis feels like, oh, now we need to go back, and then now all of a sudden this Aegis has, you know, 2 minutes left on it, and they feel like they haven't gotten enough out of it. DC again, just, you know, running down the bottom lane. Lina's already there clearing out the creep waves.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, you can see DC, they just want to stick together and try to get the most out of that Aegis, but is it efficient here? You look at the net worth chart and it just plummets into Newbee's favor, and Newbee, they're still farming up, they're still spreading out. Another tier 2 tower might make a dent in that net worth disparity, but for now, Newbee are just really content to sit back and get their first real round items up. Abaddon starting to close in on that Radiance, already having the Relic. So this is going to get pretty nasty here. That Abaddon is getting a ton of space.
Dire's top tower
Yeah, Abaddon's getting into danger territory here. Once that Radiance comes up, he farms so quickly, and then gets to everything just that much faster. You know, how often does a team that, you know, rushes to do Aegis like that, then tries to steamroll towers, end up at a net worth deficit after the next 5 minutes? you know, doesn't happen too often. Newbee definitely are outplaying them on the map right now, just the way they're moving and pushing these lanes. I think DC will take a bit more time now to farm up these lanes. But now Newbee are on the aggressive. They have Blink Dagger up on Kaka, they're smoked up. They can find Warlock with some really good time.
Yeah, they go in, they're blasting down Warlock. Mason's going to be trying to swap his friend to Freedom, and there's going to be a Monkey King jumping down with the Wukong's command. Going to be helping to finish off that Earth Spirit, but looks like they're not done with that. They will take out the Lina as well. Got the rules onto Faith, who's going to be frostbiting up the Sand King, but Faith is still in some serious trouble. It looks like it's going to be a null for 3. Very good trade there for DC, just really picking that momentum back up. And yeah, it's mostly supports in Alina, but it's still enough to really keep him going and revitalize that push.
Yeah, it's definitely good enough to queue up the tier 2 tower push mid. Nice play. You know, Newbee thought that they had an opening there that caught the Warlock through the smoke, but Vengeful Spirit was close by to swap, and then once that happened, there was no getting out for them. And Abaddon close to his Radiance, he's going to have it off this wave, but DC, big win for them. Big tower kill. They're bringing the net worth back.
Abba's going to be being back. And alright, so all the tier 2s are down, but what's DC's high ground look like? It seems like they're just going to kind of fizzle unless they get a really good 5-man wipe before it.
Well, they definitely need Aegis before having any thoughts of going high ground. They have BKB on SF, so they're pretty ready to take some of these team fights. Lifestealer is 100 gold off his Desolator. He wants that desperately before any sort of fighting. But, yeah, even high ground is still difficult. There's going to be so much spam coming in from the Lina, Crystal Maiden, even the Earth Spirit. Batting kind of hit the front with his shields, making it difficult for Shadow Fiend to push and hit the tower. But we'll see.
I feel like that Radiance is going to be not unexpected, but something that DC just currently don't have the tools to deal with unless you can, you know, focus down and Batten or separate it from the fight. It's going to make just everything really obnoxious. These squishy heroes, Sand King, Warlock can't really stand close to the fight. The missed chance is going to be obnoxious for Abed, so I'm going to see how that's changing the pace of the game, but DC, they're finally getting the momentum back in their favor. The net worth now back to even, so that early farm advantage that Newbee had is starting to crumble as DC take out all the exterior towers.
Yep, DC have some, both teams have some very nice wards up right now. Here comes the smoke from Newbee. Lifestealer's infested in the Earth Spirit, but DC, they're hanging, you know, they're hugging together. They're sitting as 5, they expect this. Shadow Fiend's kind of sitting in the front here, trying to pop the smoke.
Roche, we'll see what the timer's going to be. It's going to be fairly long here, 2.5 minutes. So not going to be something that this team can immediately take and then push once they're done with this fight. All the rest of DC TP out of this scary blind situation, so just a little wasted time from Newbee. Very different than we saw them 10 minutes ago, where they'd be the ones sitting back and farming and letting DC rotate like this.
Yep, now it's DC's turn to smoke up and look for something here. Drawing lines everywhere on the map, deciding which way to go.
Very vocal Dota players. You can, you know, hear the constant pings. There's doodles all over the map. I'm sure you have a better idea than I do of what their TeamSpeak sounds like, but it seems very loud.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to get active here, and both teams are kind of in an awkward spot. You know, DC are trying to catch them on the retreat, fight where they have wards. Newbee kind of don't care. You know, they're sitting as 5 together. They're hoping that they try to go on this Abaddon. And the fight really just comes down to whoever can get the better initiation off, if he can find the silence out of the
Oh, Abed just gets blasted here. Gonna be taking a bunch of ults and debuts as BKB. Don't really know what his chances of survival were, but unfortunately that means his big BKB charge is down. Looks like the rest of Dire are gonna continue to pressure here. Demon just really isolated, not in a great position here. Does have a TP, but certainly can't be living long enough to do that. He's just YOLOing up here. Tier 3s don't mean no thang. Looks like he's living a lot longer than he was supposed to. Meanwhile, Mason, our carry Avenge, picked off as well. So DC just kind of throw 3 bodies into the fire, and Newbee, all of a sudden, they're ready to push again.
Yeah, that looks dangerously bad. Like, the Newbee are pretty free to get all these lanes out again. Lina split pushing the bottom lane. She has her boots of travels up now, so she can get anywhere. They're checking the Roshan. Unfortunately, it's not up just quite yet for them.
Yeah, like 20 more seconds. Maybe they'll poke their heads in again before pushing.
DC definitely are pretty wary of this Roche. They're hoping that Roche isn't up quite yet, but they have some good wards, so they know that DC aren't in the, or that Newbee aren't in the pit right now. So yeah, but I mean, this is more time, you know. They get one successful team fight like that, and they know that all they need to do is just keep farming. There's no, like, they don't feel forced to go for these tier 2 towers or anything. They know that once they hit a certain point that their heroes will outscale very hard.
Yeah. I mean, the net worth chart's been so wiggly and back and forth, but I think you mentioned it, that the later this goes, the more Newbee are going to feel comfortable because their lineup just, they built it for that. Abed, there's only so much you can do as a core here, as BKB already wearing a little bit thinner than he'd like it to. That first charge was probably a little bit of panic now. Roshan's up, will be scouted by DC. They're poking their noses in, they're doing some damage, but this is definitely on the forefront of Newbee's mind, and they're just ready to charge forward. KP leading the charge as he's got his Radiance. He's scouted him out with Wave of Terror. He's going to eat up a stun, but that's just so DC can back safely.
Yep, and meanwhile, Newbee, Lina took the bottom tier 2 tower there as well, so DC has a bit of a loss. Top lane's pushing in, bottom lane's pushing in.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't think it's necessarily Dubu's fault, but this Monkey King just hasn't felt active since his first 2 kills in the map, since his early rotations. How do they get him into these fights without just dying immediately?
Well, he definitely needs to play a bit greedier and take some time. He needs some alone time, some Dubu time to farm up his Basher, get to his next item, because that's when he gets really serious, right? When he's got the Wukong's command with all the bashing monkeys coming out.
Yeah, that does not feel good. Anyway, TP's in. It looks like Newbee are going to try to make their hold on this Roche pit. They'd really like to get inside. They've already got a Stone Remnant in there. Already
Got
pushing
problems
their
in the
luck.
bottom lane though. Lina pushes in, there's an Abaddon illusion with Radiance down there. And now Newbee are in the pit, and they don't know.
It seems like this is DC's time to shine. It's now or never. They got to make an initiation. They can't just keep standing around. But Newbee definitely just spreading out, flanking, keeping them on their toes, trying to force out a bad engage. This might be it, as Mason and Abed cross the high ground threshold without much regard to Roche, which is melting very quickly. Light Strike Array going to be holding it in place, and that is an Aegis just swiped out from under DC's nose.
Yep, they got so low there in the pit, but they knew that DC wouldn't be able to check it, or they'd be too scared to actually walk in the pit and check it themselves. The only spell they had to give them vision in the pit would have been the Wave of Terror. Benj was nowhere nearby. Yeah, nice play from Newbee again. It felt like DC had a really strong start to this game, knocking down all these towers, but Newbee responded well. They didn't, you know, they kept calm. They made the right plays across the map, and they were able to keep up in the game, even though they were much weaker at fighting. All of a sudden, Abaddon has his Lotus Orb. You know, after he picked up his Radiance, Lifestealer, Aegis almost at his AC now. It's looking pretty tough here. Lina is extremely farmed, 4,000 gold on her as well.
Man, that's pretty nasty. I think you called it out really nicely where, you know, DC, they spent their laning phase trying to get active, trying to get their cores a couple of kills, trying to start some snowballs, and after taking a first really quick Aegis, they just kind of started grouping together and stopped worrying about farms, so their first items were a little bit delayed, and Newbee just really outdid them in terms of Midases. We've got 2 Midases on the side of Newbee, and they're really adding a lot of net worth to the Earth Spirit, the Abaddon able to get outside it now, and like you mentioned, the full Lotus Orb is just a couple of gold away.
Yeah, this is quite difficult, but at least DC have their Basher on Monkey King. If he can keep getting items, his teamfight presence is still extremely strong. However, the Abaddon does kind of counter him in a way. Like, he can just charge through the ultimate with his ult on, just single out the Monkey King, either force him to leave the ultimate or just kill him straight up.
Dubu, chill. But, I mean, yeah, this is looking like Newbee have a pretty clear path to execute. You look at the net worth chart, and it's finally really starting to slope a sizable amount into Newbee's favor. It was kind of wiggling back and forth to a point that didn't really matter, but I think once this last tier 2 gets taken, it's really time for Newbee to push their advantage and get this going.
Lina has entered sniper territory now. She picked up the attack range talent, and now she can hit the towers from a pretty safe distance. Lifestealer also Aegis, Solar Crest, very, very tanky. And now it's Newbee that can group up and just push these, push the last tier 2 for free.
Up top, you've got Mason going for a little split push, just going to be TPing out before there's any danger, but And this Venge is feeling a little bit underwhelming. Only a Hurricane Pike and a Solar Crest at her disposal now at 30 minutes in.
Yep, after such a great start, it feels like she's not keeping up in items. So that's typically what happens with Venge and Spirit unless it's a really, really good game. But in the mid lane, though, Kaka's going to get caught by a Monkey King.
Yep.
Alright, so nice quick pick there.
Little pick for their trouble, but I mean, it does actually serve a purpose for Newbee. It gives eyes on all of the Radiant heroes. It allows for Newbee to go and clear out their jungle, feeling pretty safe. And they've just got to tactically make sure that they don't give away any more kills here as Bulba, good old Harry Potter, is skittering through the jungle, looking for something, and may just find Crystal Maiden if he goes in for the Burrow Strike here, but just a
so
fraction
close.
of a second too late.
That's a heartbreaker right there. But yeah, even after they get that kill, the only lane they farmed was mid lane, while Newbee farmed mid, top, and the jungle.
Going in here, looks like U9's gonna walk straight into a very unpleasant situation. Does end up dropping his Aegis here. Dubu is still hanging out in that Wukong's command. We'll see what happens here as Abed just lets loose the ult, but it's not going to be doing much. KP, like you mentioned, just letting that borrowed time rock out. There is going to be a Magnetize doing a fair amount of damage to all of DC right now. Well, the Crystal Maiden's done. They will be able to secure the kill on the Abaddon after all. And all of DC, they're still up and fight and spare the Monkey King. Mason getting solo finally does drop. And now Kaka going to be focused down by the remaining DC heroes. It's an ultra kill for Abed, who taunts his way out of that fight. Good
Dancing
boy.
out of that fight. There we go.
Yep.
That's what we're all here to see. All right.
More than maybe Newbee get credit for. Lots of Agi now. He's hitting hard. This Shadow Fiend is starting to enter late game territory. The problem is the rest of his team is just kind of riding on his shoulders.
Yeah, definitely is way up in the net worth compared to the rest of his team. Nice fight from DC there. They were able to kind of ward up the area, take control of that, you know, little secret shop kind of area, and they got the stun off before Nate could do really anything. And even though he had Aegis when he respawned, you know, they have vision there. So Lina got epied. She couldn't really do anything in the fight after that as well. Abaddon kind of just ran in and pressed his R button. He was at like full health when he pressed it, but they just, you know, it's hard to fight when the enemy team has vision of an area like that. You can't use your spells the way you'd like to. Like Monkey King was pretty much, he had like 3 domain over the fight. He brought out the big circle move. No one could do anything about it at all.
The big circle move.
Yeah,
Nice.
He brings out his friends.
So, I mean, Dubu's still hanging around. He's still having impact here, but he's gonna take some time. He's got the Shadow Blade queued up. Bit of an interesting choice. Is that?
Yep.
Do you think
It's
he's gonna
very
go
good
through with
for,
that?
yeah, it's very good for when he ults. He can Shadow Blade and kind of sit on the outskirts of it, so it's really hard for him to get killed.
That Shadow Fiend with a... okay. Looks like he's going in for the Bloodthorn. Abed just ready to take no prisoners, get that silence going, start tearing people apart. There's going to be, unfortunately, Earth Spirit just way out of position, trying to be sneaky, but that's going to end up costing him. They do get the Boundless Strike onto U9, but not quite quick enough to catch all the way up to him. But DC showing some signs of life, really pushing in here and starting to close that net worth gap just a little bit.
Yep, Shadow Fiend is extremely farmed here. He's got the Bloodthorn, or the Orchid queued up here. And Orchid's nice against Abaddon. If you can Silver Edge and hit him, you know, he can't really press his R button right away, but he does have Lotus Sword to remove the silence, so maybe it won't be the best item this game since they already have a Lotus Sword to remove the Orchid debuff. Who knows, he might build it anyways because it's really good against Lifestealer, and Lifestealer does not show any signs of building any items to remove that.
Yeah, right now Lifestealer is just no holds barred, got the heart queued up. So again,
Yep.
DC taking their time, still a sizable net worth different. Overall XP is getting kind of close as they got some heroes nudging towards their 25. It's going to be Lina leading the charge there, the most farmed. And what does Lina's level 25 count usually go for? Is it the Fiery Soul buff?
Yeah, it's the Fiery Soul buff like 99% of the time. It makes her into a complete machine gun. It's very good.
All big smoke here. This could be a great initiation. They go in and they don't find what they're looking for as Bulba's just a little bit too quick. Now it looks like Radiant, they're going to get the initiation they want. Dropping out the Wukong's command for Faith, who does make her way out of the circle. Now DC kind of forced to fight at a very awkward choke point. They're still wrapping around though. They still want to take this. And it looks like Vengeful Spirit is going to get caught here. Ult drop down, does connect onto a couple. Bulba just charging through with that epi, but he's going to get locked down. Yule's uppercut to delay the inevitable as Abed starts going it down. Dubu jumping back down. Everyone trying to do whatever they can here. Bulba getting so low. It looks like he may eventually fall. Oh my, he takes the urn. He's going to be trying to just sit back and relax in that sandstorm, but Harry Potter, do you got this? Looks like he's maybe looking for deny. No, heal goes back up. Meanwhile, KP does get the kill onto Dubu. Somehow Bulba's still up and fighting, and they might be able to find the kill on this Abaddon. Abaddon still no ult for 10 more seconds. Can they kill him quick enough? KP goes in and will be killed. Bulba turns it around, lives the entire time, and takes one out. My God, what a player.
Wow, that's Harry Potter right there. He's a wizard. But in all seriousness, nice play from DC there. You know, they stand their ground. They know that, you know, newbies see them. There's a shrine right there, but they still take the fight. That butterfly is doing a massive work against the Lifestealer right now. Lifestealer just doesn't have the damage to kill him for the mischance at all. And maybe he'll rethink the hard decision and go for an MKB. We'll
Shout
see,
out
but
to Starry and Chat for the boy who lived. That is seriously a great play right there. Whew. So, Sand King getting pretty beefy. He's got the Lotus Orb of his own. Almost 1,000 gold on top of that after that big kill. What does our Sand King do here to keep himself useful? Shivas?
He's definitely just going to try to build these tank utility items. He's not going to go for Hex this game because there's a Lotus Orb and the Baton to remove that. He'll probably just tank up and try to be as annoying as possible. He'll get in, get out, try to cast stun as many times as he can. And Roshan, fast spawn. It's up, and there's a double damage right in front of it.
That is just a Roche asking to be killed right there. Newbee, though, they're still going to mount the defense. Abba's going to be up really shortly, and his team is waiting for him just to get back in there. He's TPing forward, and they're just ready to charge.
Nope,
So,
Abba's
Life
actually
Stealer.
going for the Aghanim's this game. He's got it queued up.
Oh boy, I love Aghanims. I guess it's really good for Wukong's command. You just sit in that, soak up all of the damage, and your teammates won't really be affected that much.
Yep. Also, once Shadowking BKB runs out, he's definitely killable by Alina in all these team fights, so they know if they can just survive the initial Sand King Epi, Warlock Ultimate, and Shadow Fiend clicking people down, they'll be okay. Smoke up DC here.
They want to be sneaky and get into this pit before they're scouted out, but that is wishful thinking. They're going to take the long crawl around the pit, maybe looking for some heroes as they make their way, but we'll see if Newbee just want to scoot right in.
Yeah, they
This might
definitely
just
know
be
something's up right now.
A bit
Like
too
they
much of a
should be here.
detour. Yeah, they're wrapping in. It looks like the smoke is going to pop. They see U9, they see Crystal Maiden. Boulder tossed out. Does get this done on the Shadow Fiend as Bulb is the one to make the first move. Dude, we're going to be hopping down. Goes for the Wukong's command, placed pretty far into the trees. There is going to be that Lotus Orb sprayed out. KP hopping into a premature ult. Going to be looking to save that one a little bit as Boundless Strike comes in. Bulba again. Double man burrow. Oh my goodness. This is getting nasty though. Unfortunately, Bulba does die. Magnetized, sprayed out. It's a godlike streak for Abed, who's BKB just trying to man up against U9, going forward, taking out CCC. Oh my. This is big. That's going to be a huge wipe, although Faith is back in the fight. There's going to be buybacks all around. SCCC buys back in to get the kill onto Abed, which is super important because that was 1,000 gold going to KP, and now the Roche is going to be claimed by Newbee. It looked like it was DC's fight, but the buybacks and the quick TPs in turn it right around.
Newbee bought with how many heroes in that fight? 2 heroes, the Abaddon and the Lina, just to win the fight to secure themselves Roshan.
That's
That,
work, dude.
It is. That Crystal Maiden ult was gigantic.
Yeah. They just brought exactly what they needed, and I mean, good work for Abed, just going godlike there, but unfortunately feeds his streak to the Abaddon, who can just keep scaling up, keep getting tankier, and now he's closing in. He's about halfway done with that Aghanim Scepter, so another 3-4 minutes, and that's going to be his.
I can't help feel, but IX Mike would be extremely disappointed in this Abaddon performance right now. He, you see how in all these fights, he just runs in and his ultimate gets popped instantly, right? And he's not really a big threat right now. He's missing a key component in his build that makes him a threat when he runs in, and it's the Blade Mail. If SF clicks him like once or twice with that Blade Mail off, SF will immediately regret his decision, take way too much damage, And usually when Blade Mail comes out, you're not going to hit this guy, because it's just not worth it. You're not going to kill him, it's not worth hitting him that much to trigger the ultimate. And that's what really makes him scary when he gets these items. Because like right now, he's only in the fight for like 10 seconds before he has to run out, and it's not a lot of damage.
Yeah. I mean, the Aghanims, I feel like KP's just kind of move into that damage sponge role where he builds tanky, he's got the Ags, he's just going to eat up as much damage as he can in the fight to help his teammates get off their first. But DC, they're playing that right. They're pretty much now spreading out their spells, not just kind of dumping it all at once. They're going in trying to make sure that Abba really can't get the most out of his ult. So well played by DC, and we'll see if they can keep that up. There's pings coming out of Dubu's just hopping around. Playful little monkey. He's got a TP out if he needs it.
Yep, he's got that Shadow Blade if he wants to die. So what do DC do now? Like, they've taken these fights, but now Newbee has Aegis and Cheese. You know, now maybe they probably don't feel as strong as they did before, even though Shadow Fiend has his Bloodthorn.
Has Earth Spirit had this Ags for long? Because I feel like I just noticed it, and I'd feel bad if he's had it for like 30 minutes.
I think he got it just after that last team fight.
Okay.
Because he definitely did not use it in last.
That's definitely going to be an interesting point there. If he can stone down, separate some DC cores, it'd be pretty interesting. But DC, I mean, ever since that, you know, mid-game point where they started to fumble, they've really got their act together. You can see on the net worth chart, they got in, they got the kills they needed, they're playing together, but not, you know, too kill-oriented. They're not just blindly walking around the map looking for something. They're still focusing on their own farm and their own growth. You can see Shadow Fiend still on the top of the net worth chart. Got a little Lina Lifestealer sandwich, but Bulba doing well and lots of room to scale for him.
Yeah, you can really see the difference in how these two teams are playing this pretty much the entire game. Newbee are taking much more time to farm out everything. DC are extremely, you know, buddy system dependent here. If they're not moving together, they're not moving anywhere at all. They're sitting in the base right now as 4 heroes pretty much. And Newbee, they farmed everything. You know, they farmed mid lane there, they farmed top lane there, and they farmed the jungle. While DC were kind of just sitting bottom as 5. Monkey King's trying to gather some income here, looking for information. But I mean, besides that, they're not really doing a whole lot, and that's when heroes like Vengeful Spirit start to fall off, because this hero does not farm fast at all. Like even
Yeah, she
Saint
really
King
needs
is
to snowball on
surpassing.
kills, needs to be active, needs to be a constant threat. But Newbee, they just kind of avoid her. She's not really that spooky. She swaps someone in. If it's Abba, he just lives. If it's Faith, alright, you killed the Crystal Maiden and then made yourself vulnerable. There's a little bit of a catch-22 going on with those swaps.
Yep, it's like Valve pretty much says, well, you're a support hero. You're going to transition back into a support hero unless you're not winning the game.
Nice frog laying down the law. Now, Lina, she picked up a full BKB before this fight, which is going to be hopefully pretty important. She's a little flimsy in terms of just raw HP, raw armor, so that's going to help her out a bit much, and the rest of her team by her side doing some good work, and she's still got the Aegis for a couple more seconds.
Yep, it's definitely needed against heroes like Sand King, even Warlock, to remove the Fatal Bonds. And it just helps her get her spells off with these teammates. She also has the Bloodthorn queued up, a very, very strong item, especially once these BKBs start to run out. And, I mean, this is just the nature of how Vengeful Spirit games play out. When the game starts to stagnate and your Venge isn't really in a dominant position, she can't farm these waves safely. So she starts to drop in net worth a lot. You know, Sand King starting to surpass her. And she pretty much only farms things out front of the base, but, you know, Abed comes in and says, it's mine, get out of here, raises it, and he doesn't get anything at all. While Newbee are just farming everything.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty important for Mason to pick up a couple of kills here, because Abed can only get so big. I guess he can just start feeding moon shards to his friends, but you really got to have Mason scaling up, and you know, only level 22 on the Vengeful Spirit, still lots of room to grow. Just needs a little bit of time to himself, but you know, you got to keep your Shadow Fiend big as well. It's just you know, they need a lot out of the map, and there's very few resources at their disposal within a safe distance from their base.
Yep, they're definitely trying to stay safe, not get picked off, because if they die out front, you know, right outside of their base, it's going to be buybacks forced pretty much. When Newbee were dying, they didn't really have waves, and they were kind of like far away from their base, so they couldn't really force anything. The only time Newbee felt like they needed to buyback was for Roshan, because they knew that if Shadow Fiend has Roshan, they're going to have an extremely hard time, you know, defending their base from him. He's just going to sit there, click it, and force them to fight him. But they denied him, even though it cost them so much gold to do. It was worth it for them.
Alright, I'm gonna propose we change the name of the game from Defense of the Ancients to Everyone Stay Away from Each Other. Because right now, everyone's just worried about getting those final items, really getting to that 6-slotted position. Roche gonna be a key point here. Still a couple of minutes till we see when it spawns, but I mean, there is really no intent to be taking fights here. It's just who can go out and sneakily push lanes and then TP back before they're back.
Yep, and Newbee are doing that and farming much more than DC right now. DC not even taking the time to farm out the jungle as they push these lanes out. DC farmed 2 lanes and the jungle. Or sorry, Newbee farmed 2 lanes and the jungle, while DC just farmed 1 lane. And it looks like they want to actually force this. They feel like they need to make something happen in this game or they're just going to lose, but I don't think this is the best way to go about it.
Well, they gotta try something, and it looks like this is on the menu, so Abed just getting fed up some buffs, and they are taking this tower very quickly. TP's back, the Fortify spent, and DC are now going to go on the defensive, just backing up, and they can clear this jungle, and I don't think Newbee are going to chase him too hard. Although KP has got his buddy inside, and he charge forward into this. Still has cheese at his disposal, by the way. So Baden's got like 3 lives here. Borrowed time, cheese, and also just being helped out by his buddies.
Yeah, he may play overly aggressive here, hoping to bait something out. But looks unlikely. DC want no part of that. They just want to sit behind their big, strong boy Abed here.
Dubu gonna get some eyes on the situation. He's gonna be able to ping out what's going on, but again, jumping into this is a little bit of a suicide wish.
Yeah, definitely. He's not jumping into anything in this game.
So, just some casual pressure being sprayed out. Newbee continue to try to pressure bot lane when no one's looking, and slowly but surely they're whittling down this tower. It's sitting about half health, but neither team successfully able to just bust up onto the high ground and actually crack the tier 3s.
Abed's sitting on, he just bought a full Satanic right now, so it's looking pretty farm. Looks like Newbee want to do something here though. They're all grouping up for the smoke. They know that Roshan is coming up quite soon. They want to make something happen on the map. Secure that.
Rolling, everyone's all grouped up, and it's going to be a really long Roche respawn, about a minute from the maximum, so still a good number of minutes on that. Good time for Newbee to go in and look for a kill if they can find it, but of course, caster vision is given a little more information than Newbee have at their disposal. So they're going to be just puppy guarding the Roche pit, making sure no one comes near, just rolling and kicking and burning about. See if DC fall right into their trap, as Mason's just going to be moving up. Pretty cautious here. They're going to be smoking, the smoke pops and
Breaks the smoke.
yeah, this
KP
is pretty
is
scary.
not the hero they want to go on at all.
Money to burn.
Well, Abed potentially could get jumped here as KP makes his way out of the woods. Kaka going forward. They do get that temporary stun up, but this is tricky. Abed is real gosh darn tanky. And now Bulba is starting to shoot through KP, but
They don't want to
KP
touch
is
KP.
just
He's
running
just
at
running
this.
in.
Yeah, he's just going forward. Now going to be popping his ult. Abed with that Satanic going to be eating up the Crystal Maiden. Here we go in the back line. There's a Wukong's command, but they kill up the Monkey
Oh,
King.
no,
Lina
Nate's
going to
stuck
lose
in
her
the
life for this
trees.
though. Mason's still up, and Bulba just goes forward. They punish Abba for already using his ult. U9 stuck in the trees. Will get swapped to Freedom, but looks like he's just going to be trying to take a quick vacation. Does get stoned up and slapped across the river, so the rest of Newbee will be able to escape, but DC still take something of what they wanted. They have to sacrifice their Monkey King, though.
Alright, so Nakes was inside Lina, and Lina blinked in, but she blinked into the trees. And she was just short, and then Life Sword came out, and he was just stuck in the trees the entire time. Unable to hit anything at all. We saw what happened there with the Abaddon. He was so strong in that fight. He ran in, zoned pretty much everyone. None of them wanted to hit him at all. Oh, Harry Potter in some danger here. Wizard get his way out of this one.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Easy mode.
Alright, he's gone. Level 25 Sand King has the 50 health regen talent. Extremely tanky now.
Oh my. Roshan, they're waiting patiently. Still about 40 seconds till that baby comes up. The rest of Newbee, I mean, they're going to be respawning pretty quickly. Abba's still down for a minute, but they could definitely have a good fight with just Crystal Maiden ulti.
Yep, Crystal Maiden's going to be up pretty soon here. And that's quite the long respawn on the Abaddon here, but it looks like he's going to be up before anything really happens. DC just kind of camping Roshan, hoping for something. Uh-oh, U9 might get caught here. Shadow Blade on the Venge.
Oh wow, long range swap back, immediate rage though. No time to panic and kind of keep the chase up. It looks like Mason's not going to run too far in as the rest of Newbee are congregating behind him, so playing safe, clearing out the lanes and still trying to keep that Roche on control. The big boys back up and looks like Radiant will make their way into the pit very quickly.
Looks like this one is there to claim. Nothing can be done about it. And nice reactions there from Lifesteal player. Raging as soon as the swap came out. Didn't have to scratch his nose, adjust his glasses or anything like that at that split second. That happens.
Yeah. Aegis now down. Mason's going to be picking it up here as Abed just ready to nibble on some cheese. Gotta have Mason just alive through these entire fights. His Venge is pretty easy to kill off now.
Yup, and now DC are in actually quite a dominant position. I know they're down on the net worth here, but Aegis cheese, and here comes the base siege.
Yeah, I mean, it's less than a 2,000 net worth difference. This is really, really close for 50 minutes in the game. This is just about momentum here. It's about initiation, and Abed is charging up, ready to make the first move. He will get silenced, but force-staffed back to safety here. Healed up by his old buddy Warlock, and DC play the waiting game, waiting for the next wave to keep slow sieging.
This is very tense for both teams. They want to slowly chip away at this tower, but it is quite dangerous.
You can tell Newbee, I mean, they're ready to jump. They're coming up with their game plan of, you know, Venge shows even just a little bit, this is how we punish. If Shadow Fiend comes up and tries to get aggressive, this is how we punish. And well, so far, this Tier 3 will continue to stand along with every other Tier 3 on the map.
Yep, maybe DC will try to initiate with some Venge swap onto Lina, but it's extremely risky, and I don't feel like they want to dive at all. They're probably hoping just to claim this Tier 3 and then kill some shrines, but looks like they're going to back up. This tower is looking a bit too intimidating for them.
Hasted Bulba here, he's skittering about, just going to be clearing out lanes pretty quickly. So, I mean, what's the game plan here? How did DC actually close this out? How do they break high ground against such an aggressive team?
Well, they definitely, outside of looking for a pick or anything, they might just need to man up a bit and let Abed hit this Tier 3. It'll die in like 3 hits, and then from there they can kill some shrines and try to secure some more map control, but unless they can really break high ground here and break open the game, this game is not ending for a long time.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's already 52 minutes in, but it looks like they're committed to this. They want to, at least try to break this tower.
I mean, it feels like one big swing of momentum really could be it. So they're going to go in. Everyone taking a little nap there. Kaka going to go scepter himself. Abed just going to walk to freedom. So slow siege continues, but the important thing is DC don't have to back off. Now DC, they finally get that Tier 3 tower, making their way towards the shrine. This is it. This is what they waited for. Finally, after, like, what, 30 minutes of slow siege, able to actually go and take out Roche control, take out map control, and the shrine down bottom going to be pinged out as well. So DC finally get themselves the little advantage they were looking for.
Yeah, that's a win for them. That's what they wanted. That's what they got. And now it's a bit easier for them to go right back.
Abed ain't got no shoes on his feet.
Yep, he's got, it's because he's a ghost. But DC have a lot of room to scale. Like, Monkey King can definitely take some time to farm and actually get some items instead of sitting on a tree the entire game. Like, if he can actually farm items like Abyssal, BKB, Scotty, even all these big late game items, he can actually transition himself into a core hero.
Yeah. It's a matter of having that impact, finding that farm. So you see DC now, they were trapped in their base just like 10-15 minutes ago, but since that fight around the Roche pit, they're feeling a lot more free, a lot more dominant, and they're trapping Newbee in. Are Newbee going to start to starve, or are they still tanky enough? Do they still have the items to hold this off indefinitely?
They're definitely going to start farming a bit less now than DC, but DC also don't really want to farm. Abed sitting on 7,600 gold here. He's just sitting in front of the base. He wants to push.
Yeah, and they're going in. Mason going to be BKB'd up, and they will get exactly what they're looking for. That's the initiation they need. Buyback on the Earth Spirit coming out as KP uses his ult up. And there is going to be Mason just sitting back. You've got Dubu Shadowbladed in the pit. KP just going forward, and they can't find any kills there. We got Abed now moving in. There's a Light Strike Array, only clips onto one as Abed is magic immune. Now U9 is back in and he's angry. He's munching up onto Abed who eats up the cheese. Mason's gonna respawn with that Aegis. A Light Strike Array kicking back in. The Requiem comes forward as they want to eat up this Abaddon. He's silenced. He will get off his ult. Boundless Strike clips onto 2. And Abed is still moving forward. Bulba trying to be a hero here. Light Strike Array connects onto no one. Abed getting low. He doesn't have anything at his disposal. Crystal Maiden going for a nice ult. Abed now trapped here. Oh, this is huge. Abed goes down, does have buyback. There's buyback onto Bulba as well, but now DC, they gotta run. They gotta minimize loss here. 3 heroes done. They can spend 3 buybacks. It's gonna be 4 as they lose Venge as well. A little bit of impatience from DC really cost them that fight and potentially the game.
Yeah, that was, you know, it's tough. Killing 5 heroes is hard enough, right? When people buy back and you choose to fight them again, it gets even more difficult. CM bought back there, Earth Spirit bought back there. And even though these are support heroes, it's still like once BKB goes down, if you get frostbitten for 3 seconds and you just kind of sit there, you're definitely gonna die. You know, bad things happen to you when you don't have your BKB up anymore. BKB 5 seconds now at this stage of the game. These heroes start to feel a lot more effective if they can stay alive in that fight. Earth Spirit, his first life, he kind of just died. Unfortunate things happened. The second life, he was able to do quite a lot.
There we go. Back throw protection broken. The Fortify is going to be done soon. Buyback on the Shadow Fiend. He's going to charge back in here, but ult's coming back on the side of Newbee. You really just got Crystal Maiden. You're waiting for another 15 seconds. U9 moving forward. Rax finally cracked. Now Bulba just trying to hold back the Dire. Get that stun onto Kaka. Another set of golems dropped, and this time in combination with Bulba's ult, they're doing a ton of damage. U9 getting so low, and he does go down. He has buyback here. Now Abaddon going to be ulting up, sponging some damage for his team. SCCC in some trouble, does go down. This is huge. They're turning this right back around. Faith, one of the only survivors, and is going to get picked off. There's no way he lived through that as Monkey King just jumps right over her corpse. The only survivor there is the Earth Spirit waddling back across the river. We've got 3 buybacks available on Newbee, but this is time for DC to shine and at least rip down whatever towers they can in the meantime.
Yeah, big win from DC. It's the old, we're gonna fight in your base, feed, force your buybacks, and then the other team, you know, goes for the exact same maneuver. Unintentionally, of course, but sometimes it plays out that way.
Yeah.
Now Newbee have to use all their buybacks to try to hold this.
Definitely really heating up. In terms of net worth, we are just touching that 0 line. It is all about initiation here. It's all about momentum. It's just getting those team fights, holding those important ults, getting those little picks, and looks like Abaddon's going to be withered down here. Does have his ult, but he's just dumpstered. Oh my god.
That's his dieback as well. The big crit there killed him. Didn't even proc his ultimate. Didn't press it manually either. This actually could be the game off that one play.
Abaddon does so much work sponging damage for the team that I don't know if they can hold this. Abed is right-clicking like a machine here, doing god tier damage. He's sitting on 4k gold for himself as well. They take 1 lane of Rax. They're going in for a 2nd lane of super creeps. Fortify being spent as Newbee might be making their last hold here. They're going in. Immediate silence onto the Earth Spirit as well. He's dead. He already bought back. There's a gem on the deck. Swap back forward. SCCC just trying to blink away. They will Laguna Blade Mason, but Mason's just fine. And look at this. They get the first hit bash onto U9. This is going to be it. That's game.
This is game.
Onyx, DC, they just took a game against Newbee. This is a best of 3 series, so we have yet to see game 2, potentially game 3, but wow, I was not expecting DC to look this strong against Newbee.
DC showing their stuff here. Nice gameplay all around. Well played